I gave my crackhead friend money to fund his own overdose. I knew what he had planned to do. Some context to how I know this person, and yes, I am using a throwaway. I grew up in a pretty small town. We all knew each other and everyone, and anyone could say hello and know somebody's name. I had a really good friend. I'm going to skip our whole childhoods and go to high school graduation, in which he went down a pretty dark path, abusing any substance that was thrown at him. Most people in the town, including my own friends, cut contact with him, but I stayed in contact. In fact, I stayed in contact for several years after graduation, up until the night he knocked on my door while my children and fiancé were asleep inside. He was distraught. We sat down for a few hours and spoke about everything going on with him. He eventually got to the part where he told me if he had enough money, he would take as many drugs as possible and would overdose. Let me emphasize, my first thought wasn't to fund this. In fact, I offered to explore support options with him tomorrow, but he was adamant he didn't want help or support. He was satisfied with this being his way out. So, I gave him some money and told him to do whatever he wanted with it. Of course, I knew deep down what he was going to do, but I didn't want to make it seem like it was his only option. I made sure it was enough to get him into a good rehab program and also a motel for a few nights to figure out his life, and told him this too. He left the house and I didn't hear from him for a few days. Word, eventually, spread. He took up on his own deal and had taken a bunch of pills near a bakery, and had OD'd a few nights after I last heard from him. It's been 4 years since this happened, and yet I still can't forgive myself. I look into the mirror every day ashamed of what I see. In fact, I asked my fiancée to take the kids to her mother's for a while shortly after he died and told her I just needed some space, when in fact, I just didn't trust myself around my family anymore. I'm a monster and I'm forever doomed. As I'm writing this, my kids are out playing and my fiancée is at work. She doesn't know what I did, and she will never know. My kids will never know. Only I will know, and I can't tell if that is a blessing or not. It eats me up every single day. I haven't had a moment of joy since the night I heard the news. My life ended that day with him. Every single day is darkness, and I also feel myself looking at the substances he once took to get me through the days. I don't smile when I look at my kids anymore. In fact, I don't smile at all these days. I am a monster.